welcome to another video lecture from Kame Biology. In this video lecture, we will talk about the virus transmission. Fine, that how the virus are transmitted from infected person to a healthy person. Fine. So whenever vector are transmitted, you need to understand three basic things. For the transmission of the vector, you need to understand three things. And what are these three things? These three things are actually host, means reservoir, in which the viruses are present. Second thing is healthy individual, by which the reservoir carry the infection to the healthy host. And third, we have the vector. Vector are the delivery systems, mean it can deliver the viruses to a healthy host, to the infected host to the healthy host. Fine. So in this video lecture, we are going to talk about the virus transmission. Now let me write. Virus transmission. Okay, so now three important things that you need to understand. Which one? Let me write. First is host. In host we have means reservoir. Second, we have the healthy host, healthy individual or. And third, we have the vector. Now these three important things that you have to memorize. These three important things whenever you reading any kind of virus transmission or bacterial transmission. Whenever you read to virus transmission, you need to understand these three important things. Fine. Now how these three important things are involved in a virus transmission? Let me explain. Let's suppose this is a host. Fine. Now this host contains viruses. They carry their genetic material also. Okay. Now this host is already infected and we call that reservoir. Let's suppose reservoir. Fine. They have the diseases, means they have the viruses which are present inside the host. Now this host is infected. So what happened in this case? They will carry the viruses and they will infect the other healthy host. Let's suppose this is a host, infected host. It contains the viruses and it can deliver these viruses to a healthy host. Fine. So next we have another host, but this host, let's suppose this host is healthy. Let's suppose this host is healthy. Fine. Now let me say that this one is specimen A. So specimen A having the viruses and they carry the viruses to the healthy host. This is specimen B. Specimen B. The infected host not directly transmitted the diseases to the healthy host. Not directly transmitted. They need some things by which this reservoir transmitted the virus infection to the healthy. But which are these which are these things by which they can transfer or they can deliver their diseases to the healthy host? How it is possible? It is possible with the vector. So now let me write. So means that the disease will be transmitted to the healthy host through a medium, and this medium are called vector. Vector have the ability that they can take the viruses infection. After they take the viruses infection, then they will deliver this virus infection from the infected host to the healthy host. Now what we get finally, when these diseases are transmitted to the specimen B, means the healthy host, through the vector, so we get that this host will be now get the virus infection. So now this specimen B will get the virus infection, which are transmitted from the infected host, fine, and it is possible through the vector. So that's how the infected host will transfer the diseases. Mean the infected host will transfer the viruses to the healthy host through a vector. The vector could be food, or the vector could be means that air, or it could be insects, nematodes, fungi, any other things. Okay, we will write here. I will explain here. One important thing that I want to tell you about the reservoir and these things. This healthy host are not called as reservoir. There is a big difference. Fine. How? The reservoir may contain diseases, means it may contain the viruses or it may not contain the viruses. But this healthy host, when they get the infection, they get the infection, mean they get the viruses. They get the viruses, but this reservoir, we cannot say that this is reservoir. Why? Because they may contain viruses or may not contain viruses, but this one get the viruses. So that's why we can differentiate this specimen B with specimen A. Okay. So that's all about the that's all about the specific important things, that how the viruses are transmitted. So viruses are transmitted whenever you need these three basic things, so you will easily understand the virus transmission. Fine. Now one important thing is also that viruses are transmitted through plant and animal. How? Let me write. So viruses are usually transmitted by plant and animal. But how? How the viruses are transmitted from plant and animal? When a plant is infected, so this plant will infect the human or animal. But how? They use the vector. Okay, so now let me write. They use the vector. Through this vector, the plant will carry the virus infection to the healthy host or healthy person, or healthy host or healthy person. Fine. So how? In vector we have the, first we have the insects. First we have the insect. Now how the insect will carry the disease, will carry the infection from plant to human, or from infected plant to healthy human or healthy host. How? How it is possible? This insect will sit to the plant and they will suck the nectar. Once they suck the nectar, let's suppose the plant is infected. So not only they suck the nectar, they will also suck the viruses as well. So once the viruses enter to the insect body, so this insect will reach to the human body, and now this insect will inject the viruses to the human body. Fine. So that's how the insect are also, we term the insect, we also mention the insect in a vector. Okay. Second we have mites. Mites also transfer the diseases from infected host to the healthy. Let's suppose the plant is infected with the viruses. What are mites? Mites are actually look like the lice. It is look like in a lice form. You know lice which are present in the hair. So it will be look like a lice, but it is a little bit larger than lice. Fine. And if you want to see this picture, so you can search it in a Google, by which you can easily see the picture of the mite. So what are mites? Fine. Now mites, when they feed on the plant, infected plant, so they will also get some nutrients from the infected plant. Not they only get the nutrients, they also get the viruses as well. So once they get the viruses, so they will feed on the human as well. So in the human, they will transfer the viruses. So infected plant will transfer the viruses to the healthy host through this mite also. Third, we have the fungi. Fungi also transfer the viruses. How? You know, fungi, we also say that fungi look like a plant. Why? Because plant is also made up of eukaryotic cell, and fungi also made up of eukaryotic cell. But still there are some big differences. So I don't want to explain these differences, because it will take more 15 to 10 minutes. Okay, so I don't want to explain it. I already explained it. If you want to see, so go to my channel and watch that video, difference between that plant and fungi. Fine. So we also say that plant and fungi are also have the similarities. Why? Because the plant are also eukaryotic and the fungi are also eukaryotic. The plant are also in the green color and fungi are also in the green color. Okay. Next thing is that that how the fungi will carry the plant, means that how the fungi will carry the infection from plant to the healthy host. These fungi are also feed on the plant, and once they get some nutrients from the plant, so the fungi will now present their self, or the fungi will carry their self in the air. So once they reach in the air, so in the air they will reach to the human host, healthy host we can say. Once they reach here, so they will burst here, by which the viruses are released, and now the viruses will attack to the healthy host. Fine. So that's how the fungi will also carry the infection from plant to healthy host. Last, we have another thing, and these are the nematodes. Nematodes. So nematodes are also carry the infection from plants to the animal. But how? Nematodes are also feed on the plant to get the nutrients. Once they get the nutrients, so they will feed on the human body, by which they can transfer the viruses from plant to the human. Fine. Now that's all about the plants, that how the plants can transfer the infection to the healthy host. The infected plant, how the infected plant will carry the infection to the healthy host. They using these vectors. By using these vectors, they can easily transmit the virus infection to the healthy host. Fine. Last, we have the animal. In animal, we also mention the example in a human, because scientists says that animals are also means a human are also mentioned in an animal. Fine. So how the infected human can carry the diseases or can carry the virus infection to the healthy human? How? It is transmitted through air, through food, through water, through sex, or through also vectors as well. So let me write. Also transmitted through air. Fine. How? How it is transmitted through air? Let's suppose an infected human which are present in an environment, and let's suppose there is we have infected person. Fine. So this infected person, let me represent it with A. Now this infected person will carry the viruses in the viruses. Fine. So if there is another person which are present almost 5 feet, let's suppose we have another person B, but this person B is actually healthy. Now this is infected and this is healthy. What happened? Let me represent this with the green, by which you can easily understand that the green one is healthy and the blue one is infected. So this infected person will sneeze or will cough. When they sneeze or cough, so the virus will come out from his mouth or from his nose, and the virus will now attach in the air, or they will now present in the air. And once the person are present almost from this infected person almost 5 foot, so they will easily get the infection. Second, we have the food. So in this case, the example is let me write here one. So number one, the example is let me write here. The example is influenza virus. So influenza viruses are the example. Through the influenza virus are transmitted through the air from infected person through the healthy person. So, second, we have another thing, and that are the food. Now food are also transmitted the disease. Let's suppose infected person eat the food. So the infection means the virus will also present the food. So once the viruses will present the food, and when the healthy person will eat the same food which are eaten by the infected person, so the healthy person will easily get the viruses diseases or virus infection. Fine. So we have an example in this food. We have the example are the rotavirus. Rotavirus are usually present in food. Okay. So now rotaviruses are also transmitted from healthy person, from infected person to the healthy person. When the infected person eat this food, and if this food are also eaten by the healthy person, so easily the diseases or the infection are transmitted from the infected host or infected person to the healthy person. Now, third, we have the sexually transmitted, sexually, or we can say that simply sexually. So viruses are also transmitted from healthy human or from animal, from infected animal or from infected human to the healthy human through the sex. How? Let's suppose a male is infected with the viruses, and they will sexually characteristics with the female. When they have the sexually characteristics, and once they meet with each other, so definitely the viruses will transfer from this infected man to the healthy woman or healthy female. Fine. In sexual virus transmission, the example is HIV. So sexually, the virus are also transmitted from the infected host or from the infected person to the healthy person. So this is the third one, sexually transmitted. And now fourth is the vector. In this case, vector are also the insect, mites and fungi. But there is another vector, in human cases there is another vector, we call that rodents. Rodents are also another vectors which also deliver the virus infection from the infected human to the healthy human. Fine. So in this case, the example is yellow fever. Yellow fever. Fine. So yellow fever are the example. Yellow fever are the example of the rodent. Means rodents have carry the yellow fever from the infected person to the healthy person, or from the infected human to the healthy human. Fine. I hope this video helpful. If you have any kind of questions, question. So write a question in a comment. I will try my best to give you answer as soon as possible. So if you like the video, please hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe my channel to get more interesting video lecture like that. Thank you so much.